Well, good morning from another grey, quite cold, jumpers on, definitely not the weatherman predicted day in Peterborough. I'd like to tell you a story. So, welcome to another edition of Fish Tales. Another day, another tale. Are you sitting comfortably? Then I'll begin. Our tale today concerns Davina. Now, I don't know, for those of you who remember earlier in the year, we lost the Kohaku Dave, replaced it with Davina, who has just disappeared out of sight. Is it there? Oh, it's gone deep again, I think. So, the tale begins on a dark and stormy night. Oh no, that's the wrong one. The tale begins 2 days ago. Just as Steve was thinking, pond's looking good, the clarity is great. And I'm looking at it thinking, we can have a breather, get the parameters back to normal, because obviously we knocked the bacteria off about a month ago now. And Saturday, in fact. So Steve was upstairs in the bedroom. Upstairs, you just see the window. I'd say doing the chores, but looking over the pond. And noticed that Davina was flying round and around the pond and trying to jump out. Okay, not usual behaviour, but alright, keep an eye on it. Throughout the day, when I was feeding, it wasn't coming up. Well, it was sort of coming up. Oh, here's the culprit. You just see down there. It's going away from shot now. You see, it knows we're talking about it. Yeah, not coming up to feed, not coming to the hand. It never actually, I don't think it's ever actually fed out of my hand, but it's always interested. And the sorghoi was up, the chagoi was up, Rachel the Sankey was up, but yeah, Davina just not, it took a look and then just turned around. It's like, okay. So, I thought, we need to watch this. This is not right, definitely. So we carried on the day. We spent all day in the garden. Didn't notice any other chasing around. Until dinner time. So we sat down on the deck, have our lunch, have our dinner. And we just about finished. I think Steve had taken the plates in. So he was standing by his seat by the summer room. And I was standing here. And Rachel suddenly takes an almighty run up and tries to jump out the pond. Around here. Now, thankfully, it didn't actually manage to clear the wall because I was nowhere, I was close enough to be able to catch it. But there was an almighty smack and a splash as it fell back in. I was like, okay, so we need to fish this out. Got the net, got the bowls, got the microscope. Second sweep and we had Davina out of the pond. Now that ain't normal, that ain't right, and it just looked knackered. Put it in the pond, scraped, and it was covered with trick, which would explain why the mad behaviour. It doesn't quite explain quite how knackered it was. We salt bathed it, we put it back in, we PP'd the pond, the nets. So our beautiful clear looking pond suddenly became purple and brown, and this was getting on for about 7:30 by now. And well, the worst thing was I hadn't even finished my beer. So anyway, finished that up, put Rachel back in, Davina back in. Davina dived straight down to the bottom, saying this isn't good. 5 o'clock the next morning, we're up looking for dead floating fish. No, still down the bottom. And gradually it seems to be a bit more interested. Now, I haven't fed this morning. Steve's put a bit in. I don't know if it started eating or not. We were out all day yesterday. But I think it just managed to knock itself silly, and I think we have a fish with concussion. At least I'm hoping that's all it is. It's certainly recovering now, which would kind of make sense if yesterday it just spent in a corner with a headache. So, and we'll wait to see what the next episode brings. one concussed fish.
Good morning from a very drab, very grey, very intriguing Japan koi imports. Just had a word with the two guys that work here, Mark and Nick, and they told me if you ever need anything or your subscribers need anything that's maybe past its sell by date, something that you can mend, there's always something that you can mend. He says go have a look at the filter graveyard. So I've just opened the door and I've seen this, so I've just stepped outside, and sure enough there's this massive multi-bay still got stuff in it, surprisingly enough, even down to the jap mat. And then there's an absolute skip full of pipe, fittings, cable, valves. This thing, which brand new retails at 450, quarantine tank. This thing and various other bits and pieces. So then I just went back in the shop and says, yeah, there's a couple of bits and pieces. And he said to me, well, how far did you actually walk? And I said, I just opened the gate and had a look around. He went, no, you've got to go further. You've got to go over that berm. Okay, let's have a look. I'll follow you. Oh, water. Oh, there's some more filters dotted around over there. I'll have to look at them, but I've got to be careful where I walk. Handy little bridge. Water. That's the building. God, this grass is getting longer. And he says when you go over the top of this berm, you will say, wow. Oh my God. You have got to be joking. Look at this lot. Vortexes. Vortex. Huge multi-bays. These must be best part of 4.5, 5 metres long. More vortexes. Cetus sieves. Oh. Blimey. Full cetus sieve. Another one. More multi-bays. Massive vortex. That's 4 foot across, that. Easily. They're bubble beads. Quarantine tanks. These are just dumped. I hate to think how many hundreds of pounds is dumped here. Another massive multi-bay. piles, just piles of vats. Loads of them. There's 3 there, 5 there, another multi-bay, huge quarantine vats. Not even sure what that is. It's upside down, whatever it is. This must be the old bays from before they changed the interior. Stacks of jack matting. Insulation. My God, this is a graveyard. With an old boat. 4 of these. Looks like some kind of multi-bay with a bottom entry. Another vortex, some water. God, this is a paradise. Absolute paradise. There's just grass growing over them. This is unreal. These things, I haven't seen them for ages. Blimey, this is an entire field full of stuff. So there you have it. I shall have a word with Mark and Nick to see how people can buy this, because this isn't rubbish. These are just looked as though they've been ripped out of the old premises or people's ponds that have been upgraded and just dumped in a field. Wow. I'll get back to you. Just happened across one of these as well. Do you remember these things? Pressure filters. Some kind of pond. Oh God. Look at these. Vats and vats and vats. Might be an old RO system, that. Pipework. Hundreds of them. Black box filters, IBCs, floor car on the front, on the ground. My God. Oh, I found my way out. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, because that was staggering. I've accidentally bought something else. I went down to JKI, as you know, and I bought this. If you go on to Danny's Koi Pond, he does a good review on how these work. The only addition that I was told about, and you have to be careful, is when this is full, you must make sure it is absolutely dead level. If it's not dead level, the feed can fall out quite easily. We shall overcome. We'll get that sorted out. One thing that I need to add is this valve was passing as I thought it would be, so I'm having to use this manual valve when I've done a clean. I've also altered the timer, so now it's going to be filling for 24 seconds instead of 18, so hopefully this water level gets higher than previous. I think last time it was about there, and then it started cleaning, so hopefully it's going to be about here. Let's see if I'm about right. Well, not too far off. So this is the second clean. I'm just playing about with the timer settings, and like I said, when it comes to the end of the clean, I just turn the manual valve off, and then I know that I'm not throwing all my water down the waste. Very pleased. Yeah. Right, we're almost a week on since Davina the Kohaku, don't know if you can see that, this one decided to throw itself up against the wall, and it's got some kind of, well, we think like concussion. It's got some really weird twitches and spasms. I've seen people with epilepsy having seizures, post seizures, and it just reminds us both of what that looks like. So up to now, still alive, still swimming around. It's swimming around more often now, and it's eating, so fingers crossed. The fish feeder is going on this post, hopefully straight. Right, the trip down to JKI to have a look at the graveyard, for want of a better word, for his filters. I had a word with Mark, the owner, and he said that if you've got a large van, some money, and a need for anything that you've happened to see on this video, get in touch with him, go down to see him and strike a deal. Apparently with everything that I videoed, there is a deal to be made. Over to you guys, best of luck. Right, that just wraps it up for this week. Hopefully this week. I don't want to keep boring you with more and more videos. I've got the feeder in position. We'll see how that goes. Apparently it's got to be dead level. If you're going to buy one of these and put it dead level, make sure you ain't got any food inside, because rattling it about just tips the food straight into the pond. My bad. I will do a review, sort of a personal review on how it's worked for me, probably next week now, see how it goes. Nigel and Julie are very, very appreciative of the comments that you put for our pond visit over to Derby. They were absolutely thrilled that fellow koi pond keepers and those people that don't even have a pond were very, very kind in their comments, so I'm just passing that on to you. And rest assured, I am pretty certain he's going to invest in a camera and start up his own channel, so you hopefully, fingers crossed, you'll see more of Nigel and Julie's pond. Anyway, enough of that waffle. Stay safe, 2 jabs, look after your family. Goodbye.